Raman Dati, the Chief Financial Officer at TeamLease. Thank you so much for speaking with us, ma'am, this morning, and we appreciate your time right here on NDTV Profit. Let's get the first response. I'll come to the TeamLease impact and the specifics there. But the first response to the labor code coming in, because a lot of companies like yourselves have also been involved in the stakeholder discussions before these codes have come to light.
That's true, because TeamLease has been actively advocating for these labor codes, mainly because currently there are 44 different labor laws, out of which 29 are central and rest are state, because labor is a concurrent matter. So, and these labor laws are extremely complexly written, and there is no digital infrastructure. Most of them are paper-based filings. And in fact, there are multiple definitions between one law to the other. There is a different definition of wage in one law, and there is a different definition of workman. So what these new labor codes are going to do is three things. So one, digitize; two, simplify the definitions; and three, unify. So the different 29 central labor laws have now been codified into 4 simple labor laws. So now this can drive both formalization as well as productivity of the labor workforce, which is going to be a significant driver for the country's aspiration of reaching to $5 trillion economy.
Okay, so in terms of formalization of labor, now perhaps one of the reasons that TeamLease is seeing, and I know you'll not talk about the stock price, I'm not asking you to, but perhaps one of the reasons why this is being seen as positive for companies like TeamLease is because a lot of corporates will have to formalize their staff. Will they have to come to companies like yours to make this happen?
Yeah, that's true. But having said that, it's not going to be like at a click of a button. It will be like a gentle sunrise, because this has just been notified and a lot of clarifications had to arrive. But for companies like TeamLease and others, which are mainly into staffing fixed-term contract employment, this is a major drive, because so far there has been, again, certain confusions around whether how should fixed-term contract should be monitored and what exact laws drive it. So this labor codes are going to clarify completely and formalize that fixed term contract, whether it's directly by the companies or through outsourced parties like TeamLease, is also like fully legalized. And the fact that gratuity, PF, ESIC, and all other social security benefits have been extended to fixed-term contract employees as well is going to drive, especially the entry-level jobs, which are 90% getting into informal or unorganized sector, are going to come under formal sector going forward.
Hi, Ramani. This is Hiral on this side. What I want to ask you is, yes, we understand, what will happen when it comes to a TeamLease, but all the 4 codes that have come in, and the sectors that a TeamLease deals with, which are the points that will negatively impact the companies, and which are the codes which will positively impact the companies? If you have to, bucket it into 2 lists right now, according to you.
I don't think there are any sectors that would negatively impact TeamLease, at least at this stage.
No,
that's how it looks like.
Not a TeamLease. What I'm talking about is, say, for example, costs for certain companies will increase, right? So the expense when it comes to all your new age companies like a Zomato, Swiggy, they might go up. So in a similar fashion, where are you seeing expenses that could go up for sectors that a TeamLease deals with? Because that's where you will have visibility.
That's right. See, there'll be a short-term increase in cost definitely across the spectrum, because many organizations across sectors hire informal or unorganized employees at the entry-level jobs. The biggest hit definitely will be for the platform businesses and companies that employ large number of gig employees, because now they have to start providing for social security benefits of these gig workers. But having said that, even for MSME and other industries where they have large number of entry-level unorganized staff, if they have to now comply with all of these labor codes and social security contributions, in the short run, there will be an increase in cost. But having said that, right now, there is a lot of cost of compliance and confusion of compliance as well. So these new labor codes are going to solve that. So in the long run, we are seeing this as a win-win for both enterprises as well as employees.
In terms of ease of doing business, I think one important provision that has changed is taking permissions to let go of people if your company has more than 100 employees. That has now increased to 300 employees. And this was a bugbear for companies. Compliance burden was very huge. Do you see compliance burden in that sense going down? yes, there will be some costs which will come in because you have to have a uniform system for employees, etc., work hours, all of those things, gratuity, annual leaves will start from 180 days instead of 280 days. All of those things are there. But in terms of compliance costs and red tape and bureaucracy, does that actually come down after this?
So if this is going to get implemented the way that this notification talks about, definitely yes, because it's clearly saying that there's going to be only one registration, one license, and one filing. Because as I mentioned earlier, currently we are being governed by 44 different labor laws as well as employment is concerned. And there are different filings, and the cost of compliance is extremely high. In addition to that, specific to companies where they have to do hiring and firing based on the market requirements or their internal demands, the retrenchment laws are also extremely stringent in the erstwhile labor laws. Now, this increase of 100 to 300 layoff from 100 limit to 300 is also going to enable ease of hiring and firing for the companies, and that would give a lot more flexibility, because again, one of the reasons why there is informality in these kind of jobs is also because the firing is extremely difficult, even in case if the company's internal requirements come down or market demands go down. So that has become that's been extremely difficult. So this is going to definitely help companies in enabling ease of doing business.
Okay. Ramani, the other question I have for you is, I know it's too early to actually assess in terms of impact for a TeamLease, but for an industry like yours, if you have to look at a TeamLease, Quest Corp, or any of the other peers, what is the propensity in terms of by how much business could increase for the industry on the back of the new labor codes?
Yeah, it's very difficult to kind of have an estimate on that. But just to give you a sense, right now, 90% of employment in the country are in unorganized sector. What I mean by unorganized is where they are not fully compliant with all applicable labor laws. So even out of this 90%, even if 20, 30, 40, 50% moves to organized players, be it TeamLease or even directly by the compliance, that's going to be a big driver on formalization, social security inclusion for large number of employment. And this is going to have a huge impact on overall productivity of the employees as well, not just formalization, because it's been clearly proven that where employees are in formal workforce receiving social security benefits, their productivity levels are also proven to be much higher. So coming to TeamLease, there are few sectors which we believe will start giving us additional business or going to have a positive impact. So one is again coming to gig and platform-based business, because so far we have stayed away from gig workers because we are not very much sure of what will be the social security impact of these category of workers. So that's the reason we stayed away. So now this sector, because there is almost close to 1 crore workers working under the gig category in the country. So that's going to be a huge addressable market for us. In addition to that, there are lots of other sectors where they are mostly using unorganized staff at entry-level jobs. That will also be a new market for us.
Okay, so big changes that are going to come into play, and ITI, or TeamLease is all doing well today because it's going to be formalization. At the end of the day, it's a change that was long required. I mean, in 2025, India can't continue with laws that are obsolete. And this is something that's happened. Even if there's a short-term impact here and there, we should look at it from that aspect. Thank you so much, Ramani Dhati, for joining us, Chief Financial Officer at TeamLease, breaking down what the impact is going to be of the new labor codes coming in.